Hello everyone, hope you are doing well and welcome to part 2 of the Life on the Railway series. If you haven't seen part 1 then please do be sure to look on my playlist and watch that before you watch this one. So as promised, this one is about the Navies, and we tend to think of station staff and tram crews as being people who worked on the railways. But there was another huge army of men at work right up until the end of the 19th century. These were people who actually built the rail network using nothing more sophisticated than a spade, pickaxe and wheelbarrow, and obviously a lot of strong muscles. These were the Navies, a name that was first used in the 18th century as an abbreviation of navigators, the men who built canal navigations. The Navies were full-time railway workers moving from site to site and often living rough. They found accommodation where they could. In the 1851 census, an agricultural labourer and his family managed to find space in their cottage for 19 lodgers made up of navvies and their families. When working out in the wild, as men did when building a woodhead tunnel between Manchester and Sheffield, the men erected huts of dry stone walls, covered them with thatch and moved in with their own family, letting out space to 14 or 15 single men. Wives would tramp hundreds of miles with their husbands, carrying all their possessions as they moved around the country in order to find work. The men were seldom employed directly by railway companies, but were taken on by contractors, both large and small. Many, such as Thomas Brassey, who employed thousands of men, treated the navvies well. But some used the infamous truck and Tommy note systems, instead of paying cash. Truck involved giving the men goods instead of money, while with Tommy they got notes or tokens that could be exchanged at the company's stores. The system sometimes led to arguments that could turn into riots, earning navvies a reputation for notorious behaviour. Mostly, however, the serious riots developed when one group felt that another group had agreed to take work at a lower rate. For example, there was a full-scale battle between English and Irish navvies on the Great Western Railway in 1838. Now this ended with the army being called in, and as a result 24 navvies were sent to jail. And it's no surprise to know that such events made headlines in the newspapers, but they were by no means part of normal navvy life. It was certainly true that on paydays the navvies were liable to get drunk and take a day or two to recover. But mostly they were incredibly hard-working men. It was estimated that a navvy filling trucks with spoil could shift 20 tonnes a day, throwing it to a height of 6 feet to get it into the wagons. It was this exceptional physical strength that built the railways with little or no help from machines. Thomas Brassey, who lived from 1805 to 1870, by the time of his death, had been involved in the construction of 6,415 miles of railway around the world. He was quoted to have said, "I think as fine a spectacle as any man could witness who is accustomed to look at work is to see a cutting in full operation, with about 20 wagons being filled. Every man at his post, every man with his shirt open, working in the heat of the day, the gangers looking about, and everything going like clockwork." And that concludes part 2, unfortunately rather short, but obviously that was the section about the navvies. I'm sure maybe some of you will have ancestors that used to be navvies and may want to start a conversation in the comments, or anything other railway, just start a conversation, and that's the way that you meet people. So that's it for this one. As I say, next will be part 3. That will be the early years of the railway. So until then, take care of yourselves, like, share, subscribe, click the notification button to never miss a video, and goodbye for now.